if I'll call Cable side stuff. Yeah, so when kids are young, they're fearless. Okay? So they're going to try new ideas. They're going to try new things. All right? Sometimes as parents, what we do, we scare them out of that. You know, we're going to get you in line, baby. You know, we don't want you to take no chances. Just do the right thing and don't do nothing crazy. Right? Be safe. Don't try that. Grandma, look, my shirts, they're doing good. Yeah, baby, but just make sure you just stay in school and don't get too crazy with it, because you want to have some stability. You know, Grandma loves you, but Grandma's talking about 1972 now. She's not really up to date. She's a grandma, right? So they're not always up to date to what's going on. To the point that these skills is really going to take our kids to the next level. It's going to take them to the next level. So sometimes when we see these traits in our kids, we sometimes scare them out of it. And that's a bad thing. And we don't mean it, but we do that. You know, think how many times you had a good idea, say, Mom, Dad, this, that, whatever. That ain't going to work. I mean, just listen to me. That ain't going to work. Listen to your kids' ideas. See what they have. See how you can help them. Because a lot of these kid entrepreneurs, the parents help them. Even the parents didn't understand what they were doing, they support them. Look, I'm going to support you. Okay, what do you need? Let me help you out here. All right? Now, that's what can help build our kids up. I feel that as well as just having a set mind for business, is your understanding business and focusing your kids on business readings. Not saying they have to read Forbes magazine at 5 years old, but you want to start getting them into money and how to spend money and what's the purpose of it and what to do with it, all right, at a young age, all right? And then steering them towards some of the books and stuff that can help them, okay? If you notice, the majority of your kids in 7th grade, and this is one of my pet peeves, and people might not like it. My kids in 8th grade, 9th grade, and you're reading a bunch of books on a bunch of fiction books about some dragons, in another world. All right. But what about a kid learning how to balance a checkbook? How many kids today understand about checkbooks, credit cards, money, things like that? All right. These are things that your average schools aren't teaching the kids. At that age, you should be reading certain magazines, reading certain financial publications, understanding how money does, understanding the market. Whether you're in it or not, you're understanding these things, all right? And then that will save us from getting into debt when we're older. So, and the majority of us, we're all in debt, especially the middle class. I don't even know what middle class is. You might know the definition of middle class? I mean, somebody tell me. You've been word of middle class.
It's shrinking, I know that.
Shrinking? It never was really there. I mean, it's like I said, middle class are people with bills. The poor people, sometimes we don't have any bills. Like, so what? We don't have any bills. We don't have any debt because you don't got no credit anyway. So it's like, the poor people might be doing all right, but the middle class is trying to keep up with the rich people. All right? The rich people ain't even doing what the middle class are doing. The middle class are buying $200 shoes. The rich people got beat up shoes from the corner store. They don't care. It's a different set of things. The middle class is always trying to keep up, to look the best. You want to look a certain way. You ever be around somebody that always talk what they got to do? Oh, man, I get my car fixed, man. Oh, man, I got to get my house done. I got to do all these things. He's really trying to tell you, like, listen, man, I'm doing better than you. All right? When you ask them to balance your checkbook and tell me all your assets, after all your bills, tell me how much money you have. See if he's not in the negative. All right? You got a $200,000 you got a $200,000 house. All right? Maybe. You got your 30-year mortgage with some astronomical rates because the banker that approved you, he didn't care about you. You just want to get the money. You put down 2%. So you probably owe about another $400,000. All right, you got your car, and your wife has her car. Because your wife got to have a car if you have a car. All right? And it's all notes, and you have your credit cards. Your kids are in school, all this stuff right here. And you're doing good? Cash all this stuff in, and let's see what your balance is. Are you in a negative or are you in a positive? Most people are going to be negative. All right? If somebody sits there and tells you, my biggest asset is my house, that's the biggest misconception ever. Because the house with a 30-year ball and chain on it, that's one of your biggest liabilities. It's one of your biggest liabilities. Because if you went and cash it in, you're going to have a profit, you're not going to have a profit. You're paying all the interest on top of this, and this is your biggest investment. You have no other investments at all. Some people say a car. My car's my investment. And to a small degree for you to get to work, but a car, the minute it drives off the lot, you're going to lose money. All right? Take that Benz, drive to Minnesota, bring it back next week and tell the dealer I want money back. Yeah, minus how much money? You drove all the way to the Twin Cities and whatnot, and we're going to take off about a good $5,000. Depreciated value, sir. All right? So the minute you drive off the lot, it depreciated value. Unless you got a Ferrari or something like that, which is increased in age. I don't know. All right? So this is what I mean about the middle class. So the middle class in general is stuck. And to be honest, this is why some of the entrepreneurs, the great entrepreneurs, were poor people. Because they didn't have nothing to lose anyway. To start from the bottom, you're sitting in a cornfield in like Nebraska somewhere. You're like, I just wish I could sell my corn in cans. And next thing you know, he puts it in cans and the guy's a millionaire. Because he has no other options there. So sometimes when you don't have those options, you think, okay, I got to make something happen. This is why sometimes the struggle is real. And sometimes when everybody gives you things, it doesn't work that way. But the middle class, they're thinking they're doing good. But really they're not. All right? Really, we're not. That's a whole nother class there. All right? So, starting our kids off with it. I always say that there used to be some programs on PBS. I don't know if they still come on anymore, but there used to some shows on PBS like called Money Matters and things like that, and they would tell kids about money and how it works and things like that. No need to get into the big finance terms or anything like that. They're not MBAs, but at least get them to understand money. What's the purpose of it? And then you could go from that to going into other books, other magazines. I personally feel that when your kids are a certain age, when your kids are in high school, they should be reading maybe not regular newspaper, but newspapers like, let's say, like the Wall Street Journal. Okay? Now, the Wall Street Journal, it looks like a giant obituary. I mean, it's a lot of pages. It's tricky. It's scary. And the whole thing about the Wall Street Journal is repetition. It's probably America's premier business newspaper. It comes out every day. All right? It seems like it's about 1,000 pages. All right? So you first get it, you might read about 1 or 2. You're going to fall asleep by page 5. But after you start getting used to the terms and what's going on, you'll find that the stuff in the Wall Street Journal, you're not going to find in regular newspapers. All right? Now it's online, but it's a little different. But if you're a kid, if your average newspaper is written on the 4th grade level, and let's say 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, your kid's not reading these papers, what's he reading? What's your kid reading? I always tell people, what are you reading? All right? You're reading these fantasy books? That's what it's a fantasy. It's not going to get you any money. All right? So, are you reading things that are going to increase you in knowledge? Or just increase you in idiotic ideas? All right? A bunch of magazines saying, and this is what they do. All right? I've never seen one school, one elementary, or one middle school that's ever bought the Wall Street Journal in class and had the kids read it. And I've been to a lot of schools. I've never seen one school. Even in the suburbs. Even the suburban schools. They don't do that. So papers like this are things that we should start getting used to reading, and our kids start getting a feel of business and the climate and everything like that. You're not going to understand everything at first, but if you keep reading after a while, you're going to start understanding certain terms. All right? I sometimes say like the news, like CNBC and some of these shows, they have some programs where they teach you just a little bit about money, a little bit how these things, Fox Business, things like that. And some of them can be a bit dry, but you need to at least know what's going on. All right? Because 9 times out of 10, we're the ones getting ripped off. At least know that. I mean, why not? I mean, if somebody's talking about ripping you off, you're like, oh yeah, whatever. So definitely these are things that we have to start reading and understanding some of these things. All right. Other magazines we have, actually, to believe it or not, we have some magazines right here that I think are good magazines to subscribe to have in your house. One magazine is called Inc. Magazine. It's a magazine for growing companies. It's a good magazines to read because it sometimes goes to like a lot of entrepreneurs and what they're doing and types of businesses that they're starting. You have other magazines such as like Fast Company, which goes into to more business starting. Different types of things that you can read just to get get some ideas going. And sometimes you can find good books just in the dollar store.